Welcome to the Luminary by AIESEC in SLIIT, where we interview some of the best Sri Lankan unique personalities for you to get inspired and motivated by going through their life stories and experiences.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly welcome to the Luminary powered by AIESEC in SLIIT. So it's a great pleasure for me to introduce our guest speaker today. So I'm Gautam Tyagaraja for today's questionnaire and for our honorable guest speaker, Mr. Randy Chriz and his beloved wife, Mrs. Portia Ratnayake. Knowing for everyone, Mr. Randy Chriz has taken the world of animation to a whole new level. I think Mr. Randy has made a new era of animation in the modern computing world. Not only me, knowing Mr. Randy has the pop of the animated world, all his viewers and the community believes his creation and his ideas as he will become the king of the animated world. Following the success of his solo career, having built a reputed world for his work, Randy established a production house by the name of Meraki United. So his wife here, on his support, Ms. Portia Ratnayake, joined him shortly after leaving of her 10 years successful career as communication specialist and production manager. She is now the core and talented manager for the company, and for which under its wing several fresh locals in the nations. Randy and Meraki United have produced 6 more music lyrics and videos in which another significant one was the official animated video. Randy Chriz has without become more favorite among worldwide audience for comics and animation, and the journey has just begun for Mr. Randy Chriz. So, Mr. Randy, as we know, Sri Lanka is a small country with much talented people like you, but we rarely get recognized internationally. But you have been recognized by Eminem, so it's a big privilege for our country. So how did that happen? Like, how did you get that attention of Mr. Eminem? Like, how did you cope down?
Yeah. So that it's never guaranteed. It's like you said, we are a small country and we don't get much exposure when it comes to the international arena out there. So definitely you have to do something competitive and something, different to break through all the things So even though I know it's hard to get into the international scene like that, the passion was there for me to, even if something fails, to move to the next project with the same level of enthusiasm to really do what's best, from all the things that I've seen before and things that I've learned before, to apply them and always make something to your best potential. So that I just believe in as a principle, even when a client gives you some kind of work, it's natural for me to put more than what is required. So in that way, you learn something new also. So along the way, you develop the sales. So I think this was a result of all that things that came along the way, and I was getting better at what I do. And if anyone really gives everything they have and explore that room for improvement and really put it out there, I think everyone can really find that best potential in themselves. I think that was a result of a lot of hard work and patience and putting in everything you have, without expecting anything in return. So that's the bottom line. So there are a lot of projects that kind of didn't get the reception that I thought, but I just moved on and got the same anticipation into the next project. So I think that's the crucial part.
There's no particular formula, but we can be clever in doing something that talking about what the world is talking about, and doing what you are doing. If it's little bit different, little bit stronger, little bit popping out than the other things, then you have a chance of getting noticed. And the best thing is, it's not about getting noticed on one thing, right? It's like persistence. Now, even if you say this one hit wonder situations where you have suddenly one thing going viral, maybe it might be your some random thing you didn't even think that would go viral. But if you are to really be using that that leverage that you get, it is better if you have a history of stuff that you have done well and a body of work. Like when Randy's Godzilla video was first going viral, then people, when they came to the channel, there were other things that he had done that they got to see, and they realized, this guy has been doing this for some time, and that he has more work. There's a lot that he's doing, and it gives them more ideas to do more things, and then it really helps you use that sudden boost that you got with the content you put out. So that's also important. Like Andy said, once you do one project, move on to the next project, do equally well. Move on to the next one, do equally well. Don't get, just I did one good one, I'm going to rest now. Instead of thinking like that, just every one thing you do, just keep doing the best you can.
Yeah, learn from the
other ones.
Also, I think timing has also something to play, like what's going on in the world. Like, for example, when I put out Godzilla, I first saw what is now trending on Eminem's, what's the latest thing that he has put out. So that's how I chose the Godzilla track to animate as well. And because it was getting a lot of traction as an audio as well when it was released. So I just made that connection. I thought, okay, I should animate this. So while I was finishing the animation, they announced they're going to do the official video for that, because they also have assessed that it was performing well, that track is an audio. So I think that also time.
Yeah, so you can be a little smart in what you're doing, but it's very difficult.
Still not good.
Yes, still not good. Okay.
Yeah, so those answers were really remarkable, and it's always your hard work, the commitment, your success will keep on growing. So, Mr. Randy, you have just signed a deal with the Interscope of the Universal Music Group. So, tell us more about what happened over there and what you're working on with them.
Yeah. So, signed a deal in the sense we don't sign. We are Interscope is a record label, so they sign artists, as in singers as artists. But we signed a contract with them. It's not, you can't call it a deal. It's a contract to register ourselves as one of their suppliers to supply creative work for their artists, right? So then we have to go on an online portal and register ourselves with them, and then they send a contract which we sign. That's what happened, and then that basically is an intellectual property contract where they own the rights for the work and things like that. And what was the other thing? How did it happen? So it was after we did Godzilla. In about 4 days, they emailed us. Their senior vice president in the digital division. He emailed us, and he had also put us a message on Twitter and said that he will be showing this to Eminem's team, and that they would like to do more work with us. And since then, we have been discussing. We are not. We can't really discuss everything we are doing with them because it's all pre-planned, and the plans change and all that. So we can't really tell you what's going to happen, but a lot of things are being discussed. So that's going on, I guess.
Okay, so that's really great.
SLIIT Global Education is established for students who are interested in venturing past the higher education opportunities in Sri Lanka to explore avenues in countries such as Australia, Canada, UK, USA, Germany, and France. They have a network of 30+ universities that they collaborate with to provide students with the best learning and holistic university experience. You can also avail exclusive scholarship schemes, especially if you are a student or alumnus of SLIIT. SLIIT Global Education also provides exceptional academic counseling services for undergraduate and postgraduate students tailored to their requirements. They also offer exert visa guidance counseling services and pre-departure training to all their transfer students. If you're considering pursuing your higher education abroad, feel free to give their friendly team a buzz.
Let's moving on. You have a really loving and caring, beautiful family, and how was the support towards them with you? Like as I stated earlier, there is a famous quote by Marion Pearson saying, "Behind every successful man, there is a great woman always." So, Miss Portia, tell us a bit about your and how was it making journey with Mr. and Chris, that you have give up on your successful career and hoping to catch with him?
Okay. That's actually half true and half not true, because the behind every successful man, that quote defines the woman's role as a supporting role. The man is successful, the woman is behind the man. That is not entirely true all the time. In fact, if that is the case, that would be your mother, because the man is successful means the mother has behind, because the mother has raised the man in a certain way, right, to with certain values and all of those things. That is something that she did for her son, right? But when it comes to a partnership, like a wife and husband situation, it is a partnership by definition. It's not like I'm looking after him and that was his mom. Now here he has to look after me, I have to look after him. It's a partnership, and we need to understand that statement of behind is a great woman is true for a mother, not for a wife. I would say in our case at least, because it's a win-win. Now I didn't give up on my career either. See, I started from the bottom. He also started from the bottom, and we worked ourselves up in our careers. And I was in production. I was in content. I was in PR. I was in marketing. And I was, before I quit and joined Randy to build our business, I was Vice President Marketing Communications at Pickme. So then after Vice President, then, the next step is what I took with Randy, right? So here now we are founders of a business. So it is just one step above. I haven't given up on my career, so I'm not sitting here and doing all the housework and support. That is not how it works, so this is part of, now I manage the talent at Meraki. Randy is not the only artist at Meraki. We have other young artists. Randy teaches them and Randy works with them, and I coordinate that and I talk to them, all the conversational factors, and then I help art direct for them sometimes, and Randy is too busy, which is what I did for 10 years while I was working. I worked with designers, graphic designers, web developers, so I'm just continuing that. I'm handling our own PR, I'm handling our marketing and the communications. So it's just same career. I'm doing that. And on Randy's side, so that again, talking about the Sri Lankan mentality of husband and wife, some husbands think, okay, the woman's role is to stay at home and raise the children, put food on the table. I will earn and come home and give the money they need, and that is the role. That's also not true. I mean, it is true for certain people, and it is fine. There are people who are very comfortable in those two roles, where the wife is very happy to stay at home and cook tasty food and look after the children, and that's perfect. And then the husband is very happy to go to work and bring the money in, whatever works for them. But
in this case, I think we are like a team, and we always we start from the bottom, and every decision we take, we keep together how
Yes.
we can do it together. Like, so even Meraki was like, we decided we should do something like this. And then she thought it's about time that we start on that. That's when she quit. And she's also co-founder of Meraki. I think it's like also we are also lucky that we both we share the same vision. I think that core group has to be very aligned properly. So I think also that understanding is also there. So as when you said family, yeah, it's like it's that tight bond is there, and we do everything together. So like
it's a very solid partnership. It's a business partnership that works for the business, and it's a personal partnership again. Like I said, 50-50. Like a lot of people don't come 50-50. So you need to compromise. Like the wife compromises, husband also compromises. There are compromises that we both make in order to make something better. Like this is teamwork, and so Randy tells me, Portia, if you can't do that, don't do that. You focus on this. He would tell me like that, and he will never put me down and say, you go and you just take care of my food and let me work. That kind of thing I have never heard from him. So he will like, just order from somewhere, let's work. We have work to do. Let's just get it done. That kind of mentality should be there, like win-win partner, like a business partnership, right? So that is what I think.
When you decide Randy Chriz, that was a decision.
Yeah, actually, now Randy left his corporate, his jobs, and he started on his own in 2017 October. And then we both decided, and I was still going to work, but we both had this plan. It was a plan we had for at least 5 years. So we knew that we had to brand Randy first. So I did branding as well in office, so I know how to build new brands and all that. So first thing we sat down and did was, we built Randy's website, we put up his portfolio properly, we built some nice rate cards, and it's not about putting business cards and all that, but yeah, that is also part of it. And we sent our friends the notice saying that we are doing this alone, and we have quit our jobs and we are we did a little bit of branding and marketing there, and then we built that Randy name. We put the pages up and everything. And then he started putting his work out there on those pages. Then everybody got to know who Randy was in Sri Lanka. And then when 1 year later, he quit in 2017. In 2018, we had come somewhere where I felt it was safe for me to quit the job as well. My job, because otherwise you're scared now when you take this decision. Is it okay financially? We had 2 kids, but he was okay. He was in a really good place in 1 year, and I thought, okay, now it's time. I also need to put my part into this. And when I came, Randy Chriz was already known, at least within the advertising field in Sri Lanka. And then we put Meraki United and we introduced the company, we registered the company, we really built a company together. And then we spoke to other artists. We had like so many artists coming to our house where we had the office those days. We at least had 8 people that we had every day, like talking to us, creating with us, coming to our space and doing different creative things. We were experimenting. We were doing everything we liked, to see what we can take to the next level, and what other artists will vibe with us and work with us, and how those connections will work. And if you see one of our first interviews when we opened the business, we tell this, that what we plan to do and how we plan to unite all the artists in Sri Lanka. That's why Meraki United. Unite all the artists and do something bigger because right now in Sri Lanka, what's happening is we have lots of creatives, like you said, creative people in corners, small groups, different companies. Then whatever said and done, the impact of these small groups is very little, right? So because if we will have a really good 3D designer in one company, really good environment artist in another company, really good editor in another company, these three can't get together. So if we all get together, not just 3 people, but if it's open to everyone, then there's a higher chance of us doing something that the world will see, right? The world will take a look at us. That's what we felt when we started the company. So I think I lost I lost my way. Yes, so
because this was a really great answer for today's young generation women. You have answered most of our questions in our mindset. And the women who are watching this, it would be a great answer. How do you tackle with your partner, and how you make the team work, and how you really achieve through it. It was really good, and I also really excited of your cooperation of your corporation.
Welcome to SparkX, a platform that will groom you to have a leading edge over other IT students. We built this to give you the real skills to make you a superhero, actually a super talent. Being up on the game is really important, and that's why we researched what skills are really required by the IT industry. You will be surprised. It's not pure technical skills, but a combination of specific technical skills and soft skills that we offer, which no program out there in Sri Lanka teaches you. If you master these skills, you will be assured a job in a leading IT company or the support to start your entrepreneurship journey. And that is why I teamed up with the best people to help you. Through a pre-selection process, candidates will be given the opportunity of a personalized mentorship with SparkX. The program is 6 months long and can be followed part-time while you study. Dedicated mentors with domain experts will connect you through live online learning and face-to-face boot camps.
So, Mr. Randy, in today's context, these 2D or 3D graphics are not so easy to learn about the master art of it. The young generation in Sri Lanka is very passionate in this field, but they don't have any guidance regarding it. As a professional, what would you recommend, and what advice will you give to the generation who is willing to come forward in this field?
That's a very loaded, very good question. People ask me. So, I think first of all, you really need to recognize and be aware of if you really have the hunger and how far you are willing to push it. And then after that, you have to really, you have to have a lot of patience and self-teach yourself a lot. So, you can always ask for advice from your social media. Now you can reach out to a lot of people and artists and ask for advice as well. And there are a lot of self-teaching tools online as well. So, so getting into the creative field, what I did was actually was from a very conventional way where I started working at a place, which kind of helped me on my journey. So I worked as a graphic designer, as an animator, as a content creator in a lot of companies, 12 years of experience there. So I always recommend for youngsters who are coming up, they should at least do 1 or 2 jobs to really get the experience, to have the practical experience, because better than looking at a test. It's better if it supports what you want to do. Instead, work at a it kind of so I kind of lost a little bit of time there. So if you just like that, if you do some work at a place where it supports your journey and get experience, I think that's a good place to start. because you get the experience in dealing with clients, meeting deadlines and ethics and discipline, and which is like lacking in a lot of people we try. So like working at a working at a place, I would highly recommend that for any youngsters coming up, because they will get the experience and they will know how to deal with clients and meet deadlines and have the discipline, and because that's lacking in a lot of people we try to hire these days. So that's a good place to start, I think. And but if you have the experience, for sure you have the experience, then I think you can take a leap and go on yourself. Also, it's just how much you really want to see, where you want to see yourself at. If you want to be in this level, you should know how to get there. Like reverse engineer, okay, these are the things I should be doing to get here, and place yourself in positions to win. That's what I also kind of do. It's because if you see an exposure, potential chance, if you are working with the for example, you can work with the artist who has a lot big database, but you can pitch it to him like, I can do this for you, but you have to pay, you can give a discount. So that way, you will do a collaboration with them and you will get a proper exposure. So exposure in the right terms is really important, but some people offer exposure in the wrong way. So positioning yourself to win is also good, I think. So
exposure is something you can go and find. You don't have to wait for anyone else to give it to you. You have to work towards it. Like Randy said, for example, working for a more experienced artist in your field, if you're an artist, is a learning altogether, like an internship. Then you can offer your services for either free or at a discount. But again, that artist, if that senior artist doesn't see any use of you, then you can't trouble the person and go and say, do something, I will work for you. Now, for example, we went for jobs that was not I started as a customer service agent, so that has nothing to do with my original, what I like to do. I like to write and create stories and talk and do that kind of thing. Customer service doesn't have anything to do like that. But to the company I joined was an environment where it was like it allowed you to grow. It allowed you to do more than a job role. It was a startup, which is why I always advise creatives to join a startup, because there they get the chance to show off their talents, because there is only a small group of people and they are working really at a fast pace. When it's a startup, you see how this business is growing.
And it's very flexible. Not, strict because in the organization is very hierarchical.
Yeah, there's a hierarchy.
Rigid.
There are rigid rules set.
Here you get to experience working
different roles. Now, for example, if you were a customer service person in a bigger company, I don't want to name names, no use of naming names, but in a bigger company, you have a set role. You go to the office, you sit down, you do this, you have some systems, you log into that system, put the answers that they have in the system. When the customer has a question, you have automatic answers. That is what you give. So then where is your input? You're just like a machine. You're just operating and running a system that already exists. You are replaceable, entirely replaceable. Someone else can come and do the job tomorrow. There's no real value that you're adding. At least that's what I'm saying. As a creative, you want to add value, right? So you want to give something, you want to do something. Then you want to go to an environment that is like a petri dish, that allows you to grow, and you should grow. And the other thing with the young guys is that they think now if they have studied in a school or design, or they think they're naturally talented or something, they come to work or they open up shop immediately. They say they are a designer, they are an artist, no experience, no work experience, but they are an artist, and they start selling themselves. That's fine, but you have to be a bit open to possibilities. Like sometimes there are things that you don't know how to price yourself, or you don't know how to talk to a client, you don't know which clients are approaching how, and maybe you don't know how to manage your finances, maybe you don't know what bills or payments are involved. Now, for example, when you are doing freelance, the electricity, the equipment, hardware, software, everything you have to pay for, right? But when you're working in an office, they are paying for those things. So there's a difference in how you're handling those things. And when you understand, oh, I'm paying this much, then you will, get a grip of the responsibility. But you shouldn't be arrogant. Like you should be, I'm a designer, I know all what I need to know, you don't know anything. The clients are difficult anyway. But I have seen mostly there are many designers who don't respect the client at all. They think the client knows nothing, I know everything. And so that won't work either. If you're working in a corporate field, you have to be very open. Okay, what do you want? Understand the client and see. If the client is not working for you, you have to be honest and tell that. Also, some people, okay, I'm getting the money, I don't care whatever it is, I will do what the client wants and give. I'll get the money and just wait. So that is not good for your integrity also. As a designer, if you are going to do whatever the client says, that is not going to help you either. But you have to work, right? So those things you learn when you're in a working environment, because there are seniors, then there are juniors, then there are account managers, there are client servicing people, then you see how they talk to the client, then you see how the client responds, then you see how they collect payments. There's a lot. And then you see how is my equipment managed. There is an IT guy who comes and fixes my computer, so that guy is being paid to do that, right? So if I'm going to do freelance, if my computer breaks, I have to find an IT guy, pay him and get it done, or I have to learn IT. There are things like that where you understand in a working environment the functionality of a working environment. And for example, in an office, mostly if you get tea, I have noticed this in the offices I worked, the tea lady comes and leaves the teacup, you happily drink it, you keep it there, you don't wash it, nothing. The lady comes and collects it and he goes. Then these kind of people, when they work at home, they have 10 teacups under their bed with geckos in the teacups also, So these are things that you learn in a startup, because in a big company it's very difficult to learn. In a startup, you might have to end up doing a lot of roles. Even like I have swept my office, I have washed the cup that tea was brought to me in, and then I have also now, even our CEO did it. Our CEO also would sweep. Our CEO would come and talk to the customers, because everyone is a team there. And then CEO and us, we have a good relationship where they see our talents and we have a relationship there. We meet every day. But in a bigger company, to meet the CEO, you need to be a certain level, and even so, you need an appointment. You understand? So there is that advantage as a youngster. Our advice is go join a startup, join a company where your talent can be
also play as much as roles as much as possible. For me, I was like I said, like I worked at an advertising agency and a TV broadcast company, and an e-commerce company,
and a music
production company. So the advertising company which I worked in, we decided I want this experience, so I should join this company. So like that, if you reverse engineer yourself where you want to be, and then think where I can get this experience from, and go and take part and do the work and experience it and absorb it, and then by doing that you can apply it later onwards very easily on whatever that you're doing. So that really molds you as a person, right? So, like you said,
Yeah,
that
variety of
you
things.
do take part in a lot of other roles and be open-minded, have the right attitude, also a little
Yeah,
patience
the
as
right
well.
attitude is like that. Otherwise I'm a designer. I don't do those things. I don't wash my cup. I'm here to design. That kind of attitude won't work. Now I
Also, I
on
could
any
say,
job level.
take little risks of experimental stuff, because a lot of people where some places I worked in discouraged me to
Yeah.
do things that you don't if that's not your role, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You're putting us in trouble also. We
Oh
might
my
also have to do those things.
Yeah.
Keep away from those things. So they're satisfied doing what they are doing.
Yeah.
I want to learn more, so I experimented more, and sometimes fell into trouble, but I learned from these things and how to do it right. So I take more roles and really get that experience. It's valuable.
There's no harm in doing more than you're paid for. Actually, it's not about them. It's not about the one who's paying you. It's about yourself. You're growing by doing that. If you're teaching yourself to do more things, that means as
also,
an individual.
add to that, if it's a place where it's getting toxic, and it's just like you're learning nothing, but you're just getting
Used
normal,
and
then you should
abused.
quit that place. So I think that's
also another
correction.
thing. Yeah, that's the negative side. If you feel that you're being abused or not given a chance, not given the chance to really show your talents, or that the environment is toxic, even if you have the best salary and the best chance and the biggest company, but that environment, the ones you are working with, are toxic, like their relationship and yours as political or whatever it is, get out of it. It's not worth staying a minute in an environment where you are not allowed to grow. It's like a tree. If you're like a tree and you're among thorns, you're not going to grow, right? So you have to surround yourself with sunlight and rain and good soil. Remove everything else from your picture. Negative things, remove. It brings you down all the time.
It's like a collection of all those things as an answer to.
Yeah, if you to shorten it, go to a job where you think you might enjoy working, where you think your skills will be used. Get a job, work at least 3 years, I would say. Do various things, like not only one job. Now like he said, working in music, working in advertising, working in e-commerce. Try everything. And I said, when we quit in 2017, I told you, we tried everything at home. We painted customized shoes, we did t-shirts, we did everything, just testing out, testing where we are strong. We did art, and he does art and animation, so we did art and we checked if art is the more good thing for us, or videos. Then we realized it was videos, and then we focused on that.
Also, we have to look out for like what is emerging, new things that are emerging. I remember when these 360 paintings came up. I was like constantly researching online. Okay, then I saw this was emerged. So I did a little research and did little YouTube tutorials, and I did the first 360 posts in Sri Lanka. I was working with advertising agency. So be a bit updated on what's going on as well.
When you're young, you can do that. When you're young, you have the time to do that. Now, Randy doesn't have time to learn anything right now because he's back to back. He has work. You know how hard it was to have this interview even, right? So it's like, but when you're young, you have that time, and it's the best thing, and the energy, and you don't have kids or whoever else, where you have to put your attention into. So just go out there. If you feel a place is not good, remove yourself from there, go to another place. Doesn't matter, because you're on a journey of growing yourself. You're not there to help anyone else. You will help others grow in your journey, but don't think you're being paid to do this. I'll go home. That's not it. Try to see where else you can put your tentacles, seek and see where you can help. You might discover that you're actually better at something else than what you thought you were going to do. Actually, that kind of happened to me. because I'm a psychologist. I did psychology, and I joined this job to help support my education. But then in the job, I found out that I'm better at content, at PR, at production and managing and those kind of things. And then I moved very fast up the ladder in my career. So yeah, so that's the gist of it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. and Portia, sharing all your thoughts and small pieces of evidence and phases challenging that you have faced out. So apart from this, Mr. Andrews and Ms. Portia, what would be your future plans? And other than this, what are the other interests you would see?
Yeah, the target is always moving. It's always changing. So, but one thing we always want was make a Sri Lankan movie, a movie that's based on Sri Lankan heritage and rich culture that we have. Based on that, really so much of subject matter there to tap into. So because so that we are working on that somehow. So there's a lot of obstacles to go through.
Yeah.
The movies just things that we want to do, and again bringing Meraki to a place where we can take very huge and scalable projects. We get proper crewing. It's also
to accommodate more artists and do bigger things as a collective, because right now it's mostly Randy stuff, but we are trying to, as much as possible, use our other artists into our projects and introduce them into that kind of process and all that, and work with collaboratively with other companies for example Prodigy or Mac or Studio 101 or people like that. Even we want to work with them. They have the same, like I said, one editor here, one 3D designer here. We want to get together and see what we can do. So we are constantly trying to do that. While the big thing is the movie, obviously, and there are a lot of game designs and a lot of things, lots of things that we are hoping to do.
That's really happy to hear that from you. And for the last question for this today's question here, what is your strategy to develop this field and master inside Sri Lanka? A unique way you have to find out.
Just rephrase that question again.
Yeah, so what is your strategy to develop in this field, to master inside the Sri Lanka? You having different unique ways of bringing up that?
In Sri Lanka?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, good question. In Sri Lanka, obviously, like you said in the start, there are lots of creative people. Sri Lanka is the creative country, and Randy and I believe that our strongest skill in Sri Lanka is creativity. We are known for Sigiriya, we are known for the art, we are known for the architecture. Those are the things we are known for, right? Our literature, our poets, our those are the things that Sri Lanka has been known for, other than anything else, right? So that means we have that blood, the creative juice is there. So what we think is we should capitalize on that though our education system is focused on the academics, that's fine. We have to have academics, but there is a very, narrowed focus on that instead of the creative sides. Instead of like architecture and all, when we went to school, there were only 3 options: doctor, engineer, lawyer. So where is the architect? We didn't know even that. Where is the designer? Where is the artist? Where is the fashion designer? Those kind of things haven't been injected into the education system. That's one. And the other thing is the systems built in Sri Lanka. The system, the global relationships we have so far does not accommodate selling talent. Right now, what we do is to earn foreign currency, we send our underprivileged women abroad to work. So that is not what, that's not something we should do. They should be at home working with their hands, cooking, maybe making, that's what they do. They're going there, but they can do their own, like weaving, cooking, knitting, sewing, making tags, whatnot. There's so much of things we can be doing here, right? Inside the country and selling outside without selling labor. We can, Sri Lanka is known for all this, the Sandakadapana, the massive artistic value, right, in what we do. And we have the resources, we have the environmental resources to do those things also, right? So we need to be doing those things. I think we need to be focusing on those things, helping those traditional communities who do those things. Because now what we do is in Gaul and all these places, we have these families who do like silver work, this pan kohu, that work, the wood work. We have families, so they are just limited to those places. Some people who know them go and get the products from them and sell at high prices in Colombo. Without doing that, if we really focus on bringing up our country's talent, creative skill, and doing it mass, it's not like one family and small payments for them and then someone putting it in a shop in Colombo and selling for ridiculous amounts. Instead of that, build what we say is like a convention, a huge convention where people come from, they fly to Sri Lanka to watch the convention. They come in August to watch the Asala Perahara. If we have a massive creative convention of the artists and all these kinds of creative people, where the foreign countries come to Sri Lanka to look at this, that would be a really nice thing to have. Yearly, annually, we have that convention. They come, they get to know the artists, they go back to their homes, they commission these artists for the work. It's a global market then. It's not just Colombo, So that's something we would like to see.
So like what we do, how to
art and animation. Sorry.
So,
Yeah.
So like that's how to develop that. We have idea to have a school in the future, right? So that takes some work as well. So first of all, to that in a lot of time. So right now we want to get somewhere and then build upon that.
Yeah. So now in terms of the field of animation and art and design, there are schools that already teach those things and all that. We have been invited by those schools to do lectures and whatnot, the presentations and stuff like that. But we would also love to eventually have a school, but that school is not like to give a degree or to give like a certificate. It's not like that. It should be like work-related school, like Disney and Pixar does, right? They have their younger artists design within the process and then built into the job itself. That would be ideal, so that
because the work process that I have is very different from things that are existing already. It's very different. So So if I'm to really educate them, it should be teaching them about the process which I go through as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, like that, I mean, he has his own very unique technique. It's not available online or anything. He has developed that technique. So a lot of guys ask, "Aya maker, how do you do this? How do you do that?" But he doesn't have the time. You can't just type the answer. It's not just done like that. It's a long process. They have to sit here and watch, like,
For example, I tried teaching her and it still takes a bit of time. So you need that time to really invest and get a module together, because I have to start from scratch if I'm to educate what I'm
so that, like I said, it's not about educate. Now Disney found out a certain method of doing animation, and they taught it, right? And now we find so many artists doing Disney drawings, Disney animation. It's no longer Disney's, and then we have Studio Ghibli. And then Randy will have his method, and it will be taught, and they will learn. But more than that, it is important to build that individual artist's skill and talent and style, and that kind of thing. So that should be done in a working environment. Like it's not about the theory, it's not about the technique. It's not. And we have seen really good artists who followed technique lose themselves. Like we know that he's a very good artist because we've seen them grow, but now there's no style. He doesn't have a single style. We can't recognize signature style. We can't recognize his artwork from another, because he can copy any style. So then that's good, but where is his identity, right? So then people have lost it by learning. And I think one artist, Randy's parents took you to an artist to study art when he was really small, and that artist had asked Randy to draw, and she had told his parents that if I teach this boy, he will lose his technique, because if I teach the traditional techniques that exist, he's going to lose himself. So I'm not going to teach him, because he has it in him. So that insight is really valuable. If that artist thought about the money and said, okay, you know what, send this boy, she didn't do that, because there's actual truth in what she said. He would have learned the techniques and maybe never learned himself. So it is we are really concerned about that when we say we are opening a school or whatever. We don't want it to be about learning how to do animation like Randy.
Yeah, I mean, we would definitely encourage them to find their own style also, but still teach them what we know, but say not to be really be trapped in that what we teach.
Don't be trapped in that.
Yes. Yeah, so that's the strategy, I think.
So that is something we want to do for this field in Sri Lanka or wherever it is. It's a journey. And like I said, in an overall sense, creativity in Sri Lanka has to be nourished, encouraged, and put on a platform and sold to the world. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so that was really great sharing thoughts and memories. So thank you, Mr. Randy. Thanks for on like this and entertaining words with you. So I and everyone wish and pray for your future goals and strategies that you will be facing up. No matter what the challenges and situations you will be facing, you will both succeed and become the king and queen of this animated world. So winding up it with thank you again for participating with us for this LUMINARY program. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us.
That's this week's episode of The Luminary. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode. Thank you for listening.
SLIIT Global Education is established for students who are interested in venturing past the higher education opportunities in Sri Lanka to explore avenues in countries such as Australia, Canada, UK, USA, Germany, and France. They have a network of 30 plus universities that they collaborate with to provide students with the best learning and holistic university experience. You can also avail exclusive scholarship schemes, especially if you are a student or alumnus of SLIIT. SLIIT Global Education also provides exceptional academic counseling services for undergraduate and postgraduate students tailored to their requirements. They also offer expert visa guidance counseling services and pre-departure training to all their transfer students. If you're considering pursuing your higher education abroad, feel free to give their friendly team a buzz.
Welcome to SparkX, a platform that will groom you to have a leading edge over other IT students. We built this to give you the real skills to make you a superhero, actually a super talent. Being up on the game is really important, and that's why we researched what skills are really required by the IT industry. You will be surprised. It's not pure technical skills, but a combination of specific technical skills and soft skills that we offer, which no program out there in Sri Lanka teaches you. If you master these skills, you'll be assured a job in a leading IT company or the support to start your entrepreneurship journey. And that is why I teamed up with the best people to help you. Through a pre-selection process, candidates will be given the opportunity of a personalized mentorship with SparkX. The program is 6 months long and can be followed part-time while you study. Dedicated mentors with domain experts will connect you through live online learning and face-to-face boot camps.